All right, so lesson 5 is how plants typically develop. So, normal plant growth and development, whether propagated through sexual or asexual, all plants are going to grow and develop. Plants grow and live in similar ways. So, first, seeds produce the radicle, which is the plant that emerges from the root, that hard green stem like. Soon after, the cotyledon, which are early leaves, they're going to appear. These leaves rarely look like the mature leaves of the plant, so they look a lot different than when the plant gets older. So these are called seedlings. Over a few weeks, it will develop into a young plant that looks like a little tiny version of the adult plant. And as it matures, it becomes hardier, which means it's more durable, basically. Cuttings develop their own root system, so they produce adventitious. Those are the roots that spread rather than a radical. Plants that have been divided or separated take root. It may behave like the mature plant or a less mature one. So they need water, light, oxygen, and heat to germinate. These are similar to the needs of mature plant to survive and thrive. Mature plant needs all of these things plus certain nutrients. So photosynthesis, you should know that that's turning light into energy. Energy from light is converted into chemical energy and stored carb molecules. They provide the plant with energy source. So photosynthesis causes plants to excrete oxygen. So they get rid of oxygen and they take in carbon dioxide. The plant takes in water and light, makes oxygen as a waste product. That's why they're so beneficial for us. And carbs for fuel as its desired product. So here's the equation for photosynthesis that you've probably learned or seen somewhere before. So if you're good with chemistry, you can break this down. It's not that confusing. This just means 6 molecules of water, H2O is water, plus 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. And so that's going to produce 1 molecule of sugar, which is this, plus 6 molecules of oxygen. So the 6 molecules of oxygen are not used by the plant, so that's what they release. So they, one for one, are going to take in carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen. That's why they're so beneficial for us. So it's a 2-stage process. The first is going to require light. The second reduces the carbon dioxide in the air, doesn't. It requires a process called the Calvin cycle, which is this picture right here. It represents a light independent reaction. Both stages in the process are essential. So you can see right here, it takes the light, water, light reactions, carbon dioxide into it. And it's going to develop sugar for the plant to eat. That's the energy. And it releases the oxygen. So the final stage and process connected is respiration. Respiration is where plants use sugars created through photosynthesis. So the plant uses the energy to fuel its growth. So plants do eat. They need food as well, just like we do. It just looks a little different. Respiration uses carbs and oxygen to provide energy. Transpiration is water moving through the plant from the root to the leaves. Counts for most of the majority of the water use, but they can also absorb water through their leaves. So, when it rains, yes, it's important for the rain to get to the root system, but they can also absorb some water through the leaves, so that's why it's good to come from there as well. So nutrients, although all plants, they do need light and water, they also need food and nutrients. And whenever, like we talk about fertilizers that do best are going to be NPK. It's a good one to remember. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the main ones that they need to thrive. And then the 3 secondary ones they need are calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. So when you're buying a fertilizer, you want to make sure it's got all of these ingredients. And it's going to vary by plant how much they're going to need for most of them, but they've developed now most fertilizers that are like a one size fits all for like certain categories of plants. All right, so number 1, Ellery is researching photos for a book on reproduction in plants. Which photo will they most likely choose to show reproductive process of an iris? So remember, they are asexual, using rhizomes. That's their bulbs. Remember, we separate the bulbs. Irises grow through bulbs. Okay, question 2. Ardo is preparing to use the typical process for performing a cleft graft of a cherry tree. Which step will they perform last in the grafting process? Remember, we talked about grafting. Take a cutting of the desired graft stock. It's one of the first ones. Prune away the smaller scion. Make clean cut. Insert it through the cleft. No. So after they insert it into the cleft, they actually prune away the smaller scion. So they insert the scions or cuttings of the desired grafting stalk into the cleft. Then if both scions take, Ardo would prune the smaller of the two away, leaving the larger to grow. All right, so we're ordering fertilizer. To be effective, which nutrients have the highest concentrations? Remember NPK. And I say K, there's no K. Remember potassium. I'm doing their element letters. So N is nitrogen, P is phosphorus, and K is the symbol for potassium, right? All right, so now you should be ready to take the quiz.